Hey, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Guitars and Cigars. I'm at a sit down here at Ultimate Cigar in Villa Park on North Avenue with my longtime childhood friend since 1975, we discovered, Kurt Savino.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about cigars, and we're going to talk about our musical roots, growing up together, because that's what we did, and playing music together, and with other people. So right now, what do you got there? A Partagas?
Partagas.
Like a box press, is it a little square-ish
Little
feeling?
Square.
Yeah.
Nice flavor. Light.
Comfortable. And this is a
good afternoon cigar.
And this is a Papas Fritas. And I profiled these the other day. Never heard of them before. The guy gave it to me or whatever, sold it to me, I should say. Again, he's like me. He don't like them like a telephone pole or a baseball bat. We're not the tallest guys in the world, and we're not trying to be stereotypical.
You really don't want the cigar bigger than you.
Which is easy to do.
Right?
But if you look at our decor, we don't want to be stereotypical, but look at how we dress. So, Kurt, please, our humble beginnings in music, what is your recollection?
So, 1975-ish, right?
Well, ouch, shit.
Somewhere in that area there.
We became
friends. Started to listen to music. Our big music, I guess what you would say, we followed Kiss back in the day.
That's true.
My recollection, right? The first song we ever played together, 1975-ish, 1976-ish, Detroit Rock City.
Yes. We were in love with that song.
So we were in love with that song. We were in love with Kiss. We wanted to be Kiss, and we wanted to grow our hair like them. Unfortunately, we don't have hair today. So, that tells you, we used a little too much hairspray and mousse back then, I think. I don't know. We played a lot of Kiss music.
Tried to
play. Couple 15-year-old kids.
And Ronnie
Jones. We were like just three guys that ran around together as kids and decided we were going to play. You picked up the bass.
Well, eventually, I started out with a Sears and Roebuck,
the Sunburst guitar. Remember,
Sunburst Les Paul copy, where the strings were about 6 inches off the neck. Horrible quality. My cousin Joey said you shouldn't have bought that. He was right, but what did I don't know.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think my dad brought home a partial drum kit. Blue Sparkle.
Yeah, exactly.
And this was your first drum kit.
Yeah,
with a big
I don't
symbol.
know where he got it at, but he got it from somebody.
I think at his bar. Somebody might have left it or something.
It had to be, right? Where else would he get a drum set?
No, right. But then you built on that.
Yeah. I had an uncle that played drums, which is how I started to play drums. And called him up in full excitement, right? I got this drum set. I need your help. So the guy he was, right? John Tamburino was his name, was also a comic in his day, besides a drummer. The guy he brings over a snare drum, a hi-hat.
He was encouraged.
Yeah,
excited to encourage you.
I think I called him at 3:00 in the afternoon. By 4:30, he probably had equipment over there, right?
That's awesome.
He kept the corruption in the family going, right? Because he was a drummer, and I used to watch him play when I was a kid, and that's what I wanted to do, right? And then, luckily I ran into some guys that lived a block away, and we were all hanging out and having a good time, and we all loved music. And we started out with probably like a $60 drum set.
Sure.
Maybe a $60 guitar.
And if we needed anything, we'd go down to the 100 block of Broadway.
Yeah.
To Monty's Music in Melrose Park, which was a legendary music place. I think everybody went there.
Yeah.
At some point.
I had a drum teacher there that used to give me parts, miscellaneous parts to use, and give me things, and just because I was a kid and I wanted to play and I was full of excitement about it, and that started a long journey in music, and went from there.
It's funny how you mentioned guys from a block away. So I lived on 22nd, Kurt lived on 21st, and I thought about this as you just said this, the influences in my life. I did a video on it. I'm gonna talk about it again. Musically, I'm talking about initial influences, not subsequent influences, but musically, and for my profession of being a policeman. Really, when I think about it, so many of them, if not all of the initial ones, were on one block in Melrose Park, okay? I had On the south end, what was our friend John Urso?
John Urso was on the
He
south
was a
side
good guy.
there. Yeah.
But then moving north was Johnny Bulahanis, older than us.
Yeah.
But he became a cop, and he was nice and kind, and he'd spend time and talk to me and this and that. I was kind of, enamored with him. Right next to Johnny Bulahanis' house was my Uncle Lefty and Aunt Vi's house. My Uncle Lefty was a police lieutenant in Melrose. Bigger than life.
Yeah.
And he'd work all night long. He'd get up at 5 o'clock in the evening, and that was, the time to wake up. I thought that was cool. He lived life backwards. I thought that was intriguing. His son-in-law, my cousin-in-law, was Ronnie Susak, a Melrose Park cop. Harpo lived over there.
Yeah.
He was a cop. So, police, Diafara's dad was a copper, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a lot of police influence on one block. My grandmother and my Uncle Tony lived there. I mean, I'm just saying, I had relatives. And
Great block, wasn't it?
Yes, and the closest friends on one block. So there's a giant police influence. Now, if you go back to the south end of the block where Johnny Urso lived, was Ron Jones, the original guitarist that we played with. Okay, Ronnie Jones. At the other end of the block, closer to Norwood, on the north end of the block, was Kurt. This is one block that influenced me with people on that block for music, which I still hold very dear and near to me, and my police career. So if you think about that, that's kind of nuts.
Yeah, it was a great block to live on, man. It was, it was good times, good people.
So we started playing
something
together.
that really doesn't exist anymore.
No,
Neighborhoods like that don't exist.
And people don't know the next street behind their street. They don't know the name.
I would walk down that block going to your house, right?
Yes.
To come pick you up or something, and
wake you up at
11. Wake them up at 11, and it still took a half hour. I have to bang on the door for about a half hour before.
Never was I in early.
Never, and you knew you were coming. Somehow you just went back to sleep or something. I don't know. God bless his mom. She kept it all scheduled, everything right.
How, I don't know.
But that was a great block. You'd walk down the block and you'd see people out, and they would talk to you. The Johnny Bulahanis would come over here, and you'd sit on this porch for 10 minutes and have a conversation.
Neighborhood.
Yeah, and then all those guys were good people. I remember like it was yesterday, and good memories, man. And that's, like I said, that's where our childhood was.
That's our roots.
Our music started there, and we went on to play what? How many bands?
Well, here's the thing.
Can't even tell you how many bands I played.
Right. So we named our band Star.
Yeah.
And we went over to my Uncle Smokey Maroney's, had Broadway neon signs on 31st. Not a blood uncle. I'm just saying. He was very close with my father. And we had a sign made, Star. And the S had to look like an S from Kiss.
Yeah. Our influence, right?
Yes. So we had a sign. Before we really knew how to play anything, we had to look cool.
Yeah. And that's all we did.
And we'd have some people come over and watch us practice as we evolved, and had to grow into ourselves. It's not overnight. Even for anybody that's interested in learning how to play anything, it ain't overnight.
Well, we learned together, and that's what I think was
together is right.
That was the fun part of it, right? We would all learn these songs at the same time together, and we would back then. They didn't have the
internet,
the technology that they have today. So you'd take you played albums, right? And you would take it up, put it down, play that section over again, and Ronnie, one of the Ronnies, right, would say,
one of them, yeah.
Kurt, do it this way. I think it sounds like this. You're going too fast. And then I would say the same. I think you should do the lead this way. Ron, sing it like that. So and we just learned together, man. And those are memories I'll have. Oh, well, we're
in our 60s.
We're in our 60s now. And we're talking about shit we did when we were 15, right? So 13. So that tells you how much it meant to us. And
we'd work at my dad's bar at night.
Yeah.
On the weekends, checking IDs. And then we'd play there sometimes. But sometimes we played in Kurt's basement. I think a few times, until I think your dad was like, that's enough.
I had enough. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what that. What is that? What is that noise you're making?
Yeah.
What is that?
So we transferred over. We transferred one block and one street over to my basement.
Yeah, and your mom was like totally cool. She set in his basement. She set us up like basically like our own apartment down there.
Yes, it was.
And we had our equipment in the middle of this like living room, and we had the star sign behind us, and she always made sure we had pop and snacks and like Ron said, man, we'd have people come over and they knew to come, and they knew what time we were practicing, and
they'd watch us.
And they watch us, and we thought we were rock stars.
We did. We did. And I know that we grew. We played there at Charade Lounge in Melrose, my dad's bar, a few times, quite a few times. And
Yeah.
as you grow, I mean, then it's maybe, you know what, I want to play this kind of music. I'm going to go play with these guys, or I'm going to go this way. I think you and I had another band, and I talked about this
I
before.
think we had a few off and on.
Genocide.
Yeah, we had a band called Genocide that was
Donnie
a little,
Woodfield.
Yeah, it was a little bit more heavy rock back. We started out. We were a little what maybe would be considered a little like Kiss poppy music.
Top 40.
Top 40-ish type stuff, and then we started, like you said, musically you started to grow. You started to see these bands, and
Right.
they came out with all new albums and new sounds,
Right.
and we wanted to do that. So through the journey of music, I mean, we played together for a while, then we didn't, then we did, then we didn't. And that's just music, though. That's
just how it is.
A creative
and you
thing.
Don't take that
no,
personal.
And we did the same thing with Ronnie Jones.
Yeah.
I was in a couple bands with him, solo from you.
Yeah.
And
well, you were in a band with Mo Carrera. The Pet.
Yeah, we did a band with him or two, and I did a couple different little things with him over the years. Obviously, he's out there doing his thing.
Tony Ocean
doing 50 years worth. He's been at it 50 years, man.
Which is amazing.
I believe he just celebrated his 40th year, and hopefully he sees this and he'll comment to it. But good buddy of ours as well
for a long time.
For a long time, and he's still doing his thing, and we get together with him every once in a blue moon as well. Go see him. But yeah, that was it, man.
And you know what? And then I remember losing my friend here because he went and got an actual job at a place called Toronto's at 18th and Division, and he was there all the time, making sub sandwiches, doing whatever, And it was like, well, what about our band?
Yeah,
and he's like, well, I'm actually making money now.
Yeah,
we didn't make money, and it's like, well, the hell, what about us? We're going to be famous. We're going to be.
What you don't need a job. You're gonna You're gonna get a record contract.
Right. We're gonna be rolling in money and cars and houses and all the things that go with that. And
speaking of my dad, that's probably how I got the job.
What? How?
Go get a job.
Go get a job. Well, yeah. Because yes. Because you want money and you want to live and you want to get a car and put gas in it and you want to grow.
Yeah.
So, I remember.
Which we did.
Yeah, but I remember you were the first guy. But it was like, kind of like, where the hell did Kirk go?
I divorced him.
Yeah, kind of, And then as you grow, and we all had an interest in, girls and things like that. And there's only 24 hours in a day. And as you want to grow into a later teen, a young adult, you want to have and do things that, you crave, have a relationship, have a job, and things like that. And there's not a lot of time to play music.
Well, we made it,
But we did the best we could to balance.
Yeah, we balanced things out, and these guys I used to get off of work like 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night. Remember?
Well, sure.
And they would be waiting to pick me up, and then we'd go out, and then we'd go to his dad's bar and work a couple hours. Or his dad was also very kind enough to let us jam in the back room. Again, Mr. and Mrs. Fabiani, fantastic people, always catered to us. His dad set us up with a little studio in the back and of his lounge and let us play till 2, 3 in the morning.
I mean, all the time.
How better can it be to go start to play music at 10 o'clock at night as loud as you want till 2, 3 in the morning, and then
and disturb no one
and disturb absolutely nobody. And again, there was other bands playing there. Right. That were much older than us at the time, and they would come back and listen to us play, and we got involved with some of those bands as well, opening up for what we thought at the time were really big bands,
giant bands,
and we opened up for them, and playing in front of a couple hundred people in a bar when you're 15 is a huge thing to you, and
it is.
It's addictive, obviously.
But you could see, if you really think about it and you go back in your mind, how easy it could be to be susceptible to going to that dark side, which none of us did. None of us did. But you could see how the influence of that type of surrounding and people that frequent those types of places, you could see how somebody who's maybe like a little, on that teeter-totter could go the other way. And we didn't.
No, we didn't. And we had good families, and our families all knew each other as well. So my parents knew his parents and Ronnie Jones's mom. And so,
and then in the evenings, sometimes our good friend Joey Onesti worked at Mel Park Drugs. So the back door, it didn't have the best kind of lock. So sometimes it'd swing open, and sometimes there'd be bottles of wine that would come out while we're like, teenagers, and we'd go to Bulger Park and run around and be a little goofy, but that was part of it. You're trying to find your groove.
Yeah, you're trying to find who you are, right? What you're doing.
Hang out over here with these people. I don't know. Hang over here, just to find your
we
niche.
had a lot of different friends, but we always hung around together.
Yes.
And then we all had these other little sets of friends from school. And,
yeah.
Because we were in different grades, right? So we had different.
Yeah. What are you, the class of what? When did you get
81 in high school.
81 in high school.
Yeah.
I'm 83. So we're 2 years apart.
So we had some mutual friends in that same age group, that I still talk to today around. I think still talks to some of them today as well. And,
and you know what? With things like, which has helped us, things like Facebook and stuff like that, people make fun of it, and it helps people to stay connected. You shouldn't rely on that. We are physically sitting next to each other. I think a lot of young people now, they rely on that. They'd rather communicate by text. They'd rather communicate through a phone than have actual in-person interaction, and you're missing out. Don't
relationships, what I would give advice to young people would be relationships are important. Keep them, mentor them.
Yes, maintain them.
You need to work at relationships because, as Ron just said, we didn't see each other every day.
No.
It was here or there every once in a while because we were, living life, right? Jobs, kids, all that kind of fun stuff. But you still have to work at relationships, and that's the advice I'd give young people today.
Absolutely.
Don't lose that. Work at that. Keep it going.
Take it from a couple of old guys.
Yeah, it means a lot to be 60 years old, sitting next to a guy since 1975, since you were 14, 15 years old. Yeah. That means a hell of a lot, And
do you still play drums every once in a while?
I don't really play that often anymore. No. I did get back into it a couple years back. I was going to start doing something again, and I went out and jammed with a couple guys and did some studio stuff with them.
You did.
And
do you have a kit still?
I do not have a kit. I just got rid of the kit not long ago. The difference between guitar and drums is drums are loud and very intrusive, right? At least when I played drums, it was loud and very.
There's no volume.
And I don't like to play soft. I'm a hitter. I'm a slammer, right? I like to hit and break sticks, man. That was always my style, if you remember, right?
Of course.
So it gets hard to play drums in your house. My wife was always cool about it, though, and let me play and do my thing at home.
Was she sad? Seriously, was she sad to see that go?
No,
for you.
Really. I don't know if she was sad. She's always just let me do my thing.
Okay.
If I came home tonight and said, "Hey, I think I'm going to go get another drum set," she'd probably say, "Okay, where are we going?" That's just
well, that's cool.
That's just who we are, right?
Yeah.
But it's something I will tell you this: it never leaves you. It bites you, and it stays in you, right? You just kind of go through life like this with it, and you get. I can never listen to the radio without visualizing and what the drummer's doing.
Can't help it.
It's just what I do. If I go see a live music today, which I do see a lot of, local live music, I'm big on that kind of stuff still. My concentration is right on the drummer. I could tell you a little bit about the guitar player, a little bit about the singer, but
that's where you're focused.
That's where I'm focused, and and you do the same thing, right?
Of course I do.
I mean, you play guitar, but you also were a lead man, right? You were a front guy.
Yeah.
And God bless you that you did that for us.
You see where it got us
back then.
But, I'll tell you what, and he hit on another point before we end this. End up with the right person.
Yeah.
He did, and now I did. Let them get to know everything about you. Don't hold back. So that when something pops up, they're not caught off guard like, who the hell are you? Don't surprise people. Let them know who you are, what's deep, deep, deep inside you, and what desires you have. And when you're with the right person, they want nothing but the best for you and whatever your interests are.
Yeah, don't hide who you are.
No.
Be who you are.
Exactly.
Do what you do, and
accept them.
And accept them. They've got things that you don't know anything about, and be open-minded and take it all in, man.
So this is the first of, I hope, more
Yeah, we'll do a couple more, I'm sure.
sit downs with the infamous Kurt Savino at Ultimate Cigar in Villa Park. We'll see you again. Did that stop? It didn't stop.